This organizational research presentation covered two theories, structure theory and organizational theory. Structure theory has to do with the recreation of social system, and the organizational theory have to do with the complexity of organization to recognize ways in solving these problems. Structure theory is basically used helping society to construct rules, regulation, like for instance, political parties. While it is true that organizational theory do adapt from structural theory, which means structural theory mandate at some point in time into organizational theory. Why is that so? Because, like we said, structural theory has to do with social system, and within organization you have people. So you have to know how to deal with people, what are rules, what are measures to put in place, and these people are part of the big system, a big umbrella of a state, of a government. So this is one of the way in which structure theory mandate into organizational theory. To our next slide, we will talk about the purpose or the function of controlling an organization. Why is it necessary to have a control system within an organization? First of all, we'll look at organizational control. What is organizational control is all about? See, organizational control is mostly looked at as being restrictive and dominative. Nevertheless, it is a misinterpretation. Actually, it's a misinterpretation. People say this system is there to restrict people, but I think it's a check and balance. It's there for a check and balance reason. It controls, it regulates rules, how the organization should move and where is it going. What should we do to keep it at the level, and what should we not do to have it go backward? So there are four main purposes of control within an organization. First thing is to motivate. Motivation serves a very big position within control, organizational control. It is that point where people needs to be inspired and influenced to the action in order to have a smooth performance on jobs, on whatsoever thing to do. And at this point in time is where manager create that sensitivity of the idea and had to bring people together. Is a place where you don't have to, when you in a position of motivating at the same time trying to bring result, is not a place where you bring people to the point to say, oh, you are wrong, you did this, you did that. But it is a point where you make people to know when they go wrong, but how can they change from this type of thing? What can they do differently? So in this is the in motivations, sometimes you have to do with giving people awards for job done, sometimes taking some of your good staff out for lunch unannounced, you know, put up a party. And sometimes in the party, then you can discuss issues on where the organization is going, how far we are, and what can we do differently to make the organization go great. And this is a moment where we are transparent. So when the organization is not performing, this is where we got to say and what can we do differently. That we need more productivity and we got to be exact and to the point. That is where the motivation. The next one have to do with providing information. The purpose of, like we said, the purpose or the function for controlling within an organization, one is motivation, and the second is providing information. Our communication pattern should be clear within the organization. It should go across departments, and it should be precise. We shouldn't have information from one department differently, and then the next department perceive this information in another way. We should know what we're doing. We should know what we're communicating, when we communicate, how we communicate, to whom we communicate. And the next thing is for integrity effort. So this one has to do with a sense of helping with developing new product, improving quality, understanding new production line, customer buying behavior, and how to improve. So like I said, some of the ways or some ways in which or reason why we have control within the organization is one is to motivate, two is to provide information, and we talk about the next one is integrity. No institution will want to run without the sense of increasing competition, technology, growth, supply chain. So these things are reason why we have control within the organization. So the next slide we will talk about a describing contemporary control tool or system. As we are aware, research on this control tool or system cannot be avoided in any way possible when it comes to performing in an organization. Management create control mechanism with the purpose of the idea to anticipate in achieving position or positive outcome for the institution. The bottom sheet, the bottom card score is a control mechanism, is a control system that provides some kind of measure which includes the customer, the internal environment, the financial and innovation and learning. These are reasons you can have a contemporary control too. Because when you are within this state to have a balanced scorecard or to have that contemporary control too, you first look at the customers, you look at your internal control system, and you look at your financials and your innovative ability. These measures help to maximize information given to managers in order to solve critical issues. Our next slide have to do with how financials or budgeting controls are using this tool to describe how organizations are run. The financial perspective of an organization is not possible without a good accountability or accounting set of bookkeeping, summarizing, analyzing, reporting, involving costs. When we talk about return on investment, profit and loss statement, cash flow analysis, all of these things are reasons or way or tool, financial tool to control an institution. We look at these things because they are important, very much important. We got to know who's taking notes on the invoices, who's giving receipt, when receipts are given, and how it's recorded. So the transaction date should be recorded as the recording date. When should we record this? When should we post to the ledger? When should we be able to complete our report, monthly report, quarterly report? How do we submit them? When do we realize costs? All these things are things that we have to look at, and we have to make sure they are in line. These are the reasons why we should make sure every organization have a very unique control system. These budgeting control usually cover a particular time. Like I said, it could be for the month, for quarter, and for a year. So we know when to make our yearly report. This is mostly within a year, but before you make the yearly report, you have your quarterly analysis, your quarterly report. You have your ledger that we have to go from month to month. When should this ledger be closed? So, in order to have accurate information, exact information, factual information, management, organizational leaders, managers have to know, have to put in measures to know who are keeping these books, who are running these pages, who are collecting this data. When do we spend? How do we spend? What do we see as petty cash? And how do we account for petty cash? These things, cash flow statement. How do we treat our loss statement? Which, of course, no organization will want to run at a loss. So, in order to do so, we should pay key note on our cash flow statement. How cash is coming in, how cash is coming in and cash is going out. And in order to know how cash is going out and cash is coming in, we should look at our bookkeeping system. We should look at our reporting system. Those are the reasons why organizations have financial and budgeting control. It's also deal with the planning of sales, because these financial aspects have to deal with how do we run sales forecasting, volume of revenue, costs, expenses, liabilities. All of these things is all because of all of these things. You have management making sure that we have oversight, people that are responsible. When do we report this thing? Are we going back what we forecast for this year? So last year we forecast like 3 million, and probably we reached 5 million. So this year we forecast, looking at all factor constants, holding all factor constants, we forecast 10 million revenue. How are we going to generate these 10 million revenue? That's the planning aspect. That's the volume, sales. What we're going to do, expenses, what we're going to put into place. How much we're going to see at the end of the day as profit. So it means that we had to pay our liabilities. All of these things are reason why